On July 27, 2024, an entire arena fell silent as the words "and new" echoed through Manchester. Against all odds, Belal Muhammad had just done the impossible. How did a fighter that nobody believed in dethrone Leon Edwards? The answer begins 11 years earlier. With a proud Palestinian background and a record of 24 wins and 3 losses, Belal went from smaller shows like Titan FC to headlining UFC cards. His story is one every MMA fan and underdog should know. Born in Chicago on July 9, 1988, Belal grew up in a close family that taught him hard work. He trained at Volley Flow Striking and turned pro in 2012. Standing 5'11" inches and weighing 169 pounds, he fights in the welterweight division with strong cardio and smart pressure. He's won 5 fights by TKO, 1 by submission, and as of February 2025, he's ranked number 7 in UFC's pound-for-pound list. To understand how far Belal has gone, let's watch his most notable fights so far, from fighting in small Midwest shows to reaching UFC gold. So, stay tuned to the end. Now, let's begin with Chapter 1, the Bellator days and Titan FC title run, 2012 to 2015. Before Belal Muhammad became a household name in the UFC, he was just a hungry fighter from Chicago, with Palestinian roots and an iron will. In 2012, he stepped into the professional cage for the first time at Hoosier Fight Club 12, facing Justin Brock. Not many knew his name then, but within just 2 minutes and 17 seconds, Belal left a message: TKO win. Boom, the journey had begun. Over the next few years, Belal would take on fights anywhere he could get them: Bellator, Hoosier Fight Club, and Titan FC. These weren't glamorous arenas. They were gritty, passionate battlegrounds where only the determined survived. And Belal thrived. He stacked up decision wins over names like Garrett Gross, AJ Matthews, and Chris Curtis. Yes, that Chris Curtis, who's now a fellow UFC fighter. What stood out in these early fights was Belal's consistency. He didn't just win, he outclassed his opponents with pressure, cardio, and heart. But the defining moment of this era came on April 30th, 2016, at Titan FC 38. Belal was fighting Steve Carl, a battle-tested former WSOF champion, for the Titan FC welterweight title. It wasn't a quick knockout. This was a war. For nearly 4 rounds, Belal pushed forward, digging deep, exchanging heavy shots and stuffing takedowns. Finally, in the 4th round at 4:07, Belal unleashed a storm. TKO victory. He was now a champion. What's powerful about this chapter in Belal's life is that he built a solid foundation of experience, cardio, and cage IQ. He was also quietly carrying his Palestinian heritage with pride, representing a people who rarely get this kind of spotlight. And soon enough, the UFC took notice. Chapter 2, the UFC call, from underdog to contender, 2016 to 2020. In 2016, Belal Muhammad got the call that every fighter dreams of: the UFC, the biggest MMA stage in the world. His debut came on July 7, 2016, against Alan Jouban at UFC Fight Night. Dos Anjos vs. Alvarez. It was short notice. Most fighters get nervous. Belal? He went to war. Though he lost by unanimous decision, fans saw something different: heart, pressure, and no fear. Belal didn't let the loss shake him. In fact, he bounced back fast. Just 2 months later, on September 18, 2016, he fought Augusto Montano. This time, he showed his power and composure. In round 3, at 4:19, TKO win. Belal was back on track. But the UFC ride wasn't smooth. In November 2016, he faced Vicente Luque at the historic UFC 205, the first UFC event in Madison Square Garden. Luque caught Belal early with a KO in the first round. It was a tough loss, yet Belal didn't fold. He studied, adjusted, and worked harder. From there, the rebuild began. In 2017, he took wins over Randy Brown and Jordan Maine, both by decision. Belal was developing a trademark style: push forward, apply pressure, make your opponent uncomfortable. His cardio never quit, his chin never cracked, Then came 2018 and 2019. He racked up wins against Chance Rencontre, Curtis Millender, and Takashi Sato, including a slick submission win over Sato at UFC 242, his only submission victory to date. In 2020, Belal fought Lyman Good at UFC Fight Night, Blades vs. Volkov. The world was in lockdown, but Belal was locked in. For 3 rounds, he outworked Good with volume and movement. It was a masterclass in cardio and cage control. Unanimous decision win. Belal closed out this chapter at UFC 258 in 2021 with a victory over Diego Lima. Again, he stuck to the game plan: pressure, pace, and precision. By 2020, his record in the UFC was building, and people started noticing. He wasn't flashy, but he was effective. He wasn't knocking people out every time, but he was winning, again and again. The fans started to see what Belal already knew. He belonged with the best. Chapter 3. The Edwards Drama and the Redemption. 2021. In 2021, Belal Muhammad finally got the fight that could change everything. A matchup against Leon Edwards, one of the top-ranked welterweights in the world. The bout was set for March 13, 2021, at UFC Fight Night, Edwards vs. Muhammad. For Belal, it was a golden opportunity. Everyone expected Edwards to dominate. He hadn't fought in almost 2 years, but many believed he was still too skilled for Belal. But when the cage door closed, Belal shocked the critics. He pressured Edwards. He refused to be bullied. He looked like he belonged. Then disaster struck. In round 2, just 18 seconds in, Edwards accidentally poked Belal in the eye. It was bad. Belal cried out in pain and collapsed to the canvas. The fight was stopped. The result? No contest. Heartbreaking. Belal had trained so hard, was rising to the occasion. And just like that, the moment was gone. Some fighters might complain or fade after a moment like that. Not Belal. He wiped away the disappointment and went right back to the grind. Later that year, at UFC 263, he faced the legendary Demian Maia, one of the best grapplers in MMA history. Belal avoided all Maia's submission traps and picked him apart on the feet. Unanimous decision. Then came another big test. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in December 2021. Wonderboy was a nightmare matchup for anyone with his karate style and footwork. But Belal did what Belal does. Smothered him with takedowns and clinch work, shutting down Wonderboy's rhythm. That's another unanimous decision. Redemption complete. Belal had gone from the guy with the eye poke to a serious title contender. Chapter 4. Climbing the ranks. 2021 to 2023. 2022 was the year Belal Muhammad started closing in on greatness. He wanted revenge first, and he got it. On April 16, 2022, at UFC Fight Night, Luque vs. Muhammad. 2. Belal stepped in against Vicente Luque, the man who had brutally knocked him out back in 2016. But this time, it was different. Belal didn't just fight smart. He fought like a man on a mission. Round after round, he stuck to the plan. Pressure, takedowns, clinch control, strikes from the top. Every round he landed more, moved better, and looked stronger. After 5 hard rounds, the judges gave him the unanimous decision win. Redemption tasted sweet, but he wasn't done. In October 2022, he took on rising star Sean Brady at UFC 280. Brady was undefeated, and many expected him to run through Belal. But when the fight started, it was Belal who took control. In round 2, at 447, Belal turned it up. Punches in bunches, pinpoint accuracy, unrelenting pressure. He got the TKO win. Belal had just handed Sean Brady his first professional loss and made it look easy. By now, fans couldn't ignore him anymore. He was beating strikers. He was beating grapplers. He was beating undefeated prospects. Belal wasn't just winning, he was making statements. And the title shot? It was getting closer. Chapter 5. The Burns Battle and Earning His Shot, 2023. In May 2023, the test was Gilbert Burns at UFC 288. A powerhouse striker and jiu-jitsu ace, Burns was known for his explosive takedowns and fight-ending punches. But Belal, he stayed composed from the start. For 5 full rounds, he used his crisp jab to control distance, circled intelligently, and shut down Burns' wrestling. He mixed his own takedowns and punished Burns with clean shots. Belal's defense was airtight. Burns couldn't get anything off. By the final bell, there was no debate. Unanimous decision, Belal Muhammad. That win was massive. Gilbert Burns was ranked near the top. Beating him wasn't just another win, it was the win that forced the UFC to take notice. Belal didn't get there overnight. He wasn't a hype train. He was a hard-working fighter who beat whoever they put in front of him. After 11 years of grinding, it was finally clear. Belal Muhammad deserved a title shot. Chapter 6. The Rematch of Destiny. Edwards vs. Muhammad II, 2024. July 27, 2024. UFC 304 at Manchester Arena. The Night of Destiny. Belal Muhammad vs. Leon Edwards. Part 2. This time, it wasn't just about unfinished business. This was for the UFC Welterweight Championship. Before the fight, Belal Muhammad dedicated the fight to his Palestinian people who were in a fight with Israel. He hoped to give his people a little happiness by winning the belt. He walked into the octagon ready and focused. No eye pokes, no excuses. Just a 5-round war for glory. Right from the start, Belal brought the heat. His pressure was non-stop. He closed the distance, fired combinations, and mixed in level changes. Edwards tried to stay calm, tried to snipe from the outside, but Belal didn't let him breathe. Round after round, Belal took control. In the championship rounds, round 4 and 5, Belal dug deep. His cardio held up. His wrestling stayed sharp. Edwards showed heart, but he couldn't match the output. When the final horn sounded, the Manchester crowd knew what just happened. So did the judges. Unanimous decision. Belal Muhammad. New UFC welterweight champion of the world. From fighting in small Midwest gyms to wearing UFC gold, Belal had done it. A Palestinian-American fighter who never gave up, never gave in, and finally took his place among champions. Belal Muhammad is 36, and now the UFC welterweight champion. But he's not stopping. He stands as a symbol of hope for Palestinians, and proof that hard work beats hype. With 24 wins, only 3 losses, 5 knockouts, and 1 submission, he's earned every bit of respect. He was also the Titan FC champion back in 2016, and is currently ranked number 7 in UFC's pound-for-pound list. The big question now, can he keep the belt? The division is full of killers, but if anyone can hold the line, it's Belal. His story isn't done yet. Now tell us, who should Belal fight next? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real fight stories coming next.